Welcome to my workout cave, and welcome to the first episode of, I'm not sure what to call it, but what we're going to be talking about is your face. Um, One of the things I do is I consult to the Baltimore Police Department, and I've done that in terms of communications, but lie detection, interviewing and interrogation skills. And so, I kind of have made it a business to study physiology, what the face can tell you. The Boarded Boys and Girls Harbor provided wonderful material in terms of when a face is dishonest or cruel or indifferent. But enough about them. But other people have found the face to be incredibly interesting as well. Abraham Lincoln was interviewing a potential cabinet person, and at the end of the interview, a person went out of the room, and Lincoln's assistant said, "So are you going to hire him?" And Lincoln said, "Nope, didn't like his face." And the assistant said, "You can't hire somebody because you didn't like his face. He's not responsible for his face." And Abraham Lincoln said, "Over 40, every man is responsible for his face." So what is your face saying about you? When I first traveled to India, I was a little taken aback when I had women intently staring at me. Now, my ego is as healthy as the next guy, and I said, well, it's probably because I'm pretty good looking, but it happened more than a few times. And I finally asked somebody, I said, these women were, when they weren't looking at me, seemed very reserved, but they would stare intently at my face. What's that about? And it was explained to me that there's something in India called face reading. And apparently this is a practice that is also in China, and it's a practice that was called physiognomy in medieval times in Europe. And apparently there are people who have the ability through study and, I guess, intuition to determine a person's character and worth through their face. So Paul Ekman, Dr. Paul Ekman, has made a study of facial expressions, specifically micro expressions, and what they tell you about what the person is really thinking. So apparently there are these expressions that flit across your face, hence the term micro expressions, out of your conscious awareness. But what they do is they give you, they give the observer, if they're trained and sensitive enough, insight into what that person is really thinking and feeling, regardless of their words. I've made a study of some of Ekman's work, and I found it fascinating. So what is your face saying about you? Do you have those vertical lines that come through your lips from either too much cigarette smoking or just being tense and angry at the world? Has your smile too often stopped at the lines of your mouth instead of moving up to your eyes, which is where a real smile is supposed to be? The smile ends around the eyes. Do you have laugh lines? Do you have lines of concern? Are you frowning a lot? Is your face kind? Is it cruel? Are you able to relax the muscles around your eyes? When people look at you, what are they reading? I suggest it's something to pay attention to, and we'll talk more about physiology in the upcoming episodes. Coaching, which is one of the fields that I am involved in and we'll go into in more depth, often has to do with the cognitive and the behavioral, and there are not too many coaching studies that look into how physiology plays a role, but we'll be doing that here. So thank you for sticking with me.